right? If there's a central organization, if there's a venture capitalist involved, it's a security. If there's a central development head, it's a security, right? Any of those things are securities. And I think a lot of people don't want to embrace that reality, but that is kind of the reality. And so we're in this very interesting tension where what should theoretically happen is most of the altcoins should disappear, or they should, probably they should disappear. A few should become publicly listed, privately listed security tokens with disclosures and different rails. A lot of the entrepreneurs should exit, right? They get squeezed out of the market. A few entrepreneurs can come public, like cross the chasm. Can you get an FDIC license in order to issue a stable coin, right? That kind of stuff. Can you actually get the appropriate license? Can you hire the right lawyers in order to get through that chasm? And some do, but 98% don't. And what I see coming from the president's working group and all the regulatory, if you read the stablecoin memo, if you read the denial of the spot ETF, if you read the Crenshaw memo, which was issued by a commissioner of the SEC, Caroline Crenshaw, and if you parse all the testimony of the regulators in congressional hearings and public speeches, the conclusion you come to is there are two things that are acknowledged that the world wants. One thing the world wants is it wants digital dollars, stablecoin digital dollars, and it wants 10 trillion of it, 20 trillion of it. Like, we've got a $160 billion stablecoin market, with Tether and Circle leading. But what the world really wants is it wants 10, 20, 30, 50 trillion of it. I mean, they want to replace their lira and their pesos and their, every currency in the world. They want to flip from local currency to dollars, and they want to go from analog dollars to digital dollars, right? I don't trust the peso or the lira, so I want the dollar. But I don't trust the bank, so I want it out of the bank, right? So if I were to go and interview 1,000 people on the street in Africa or South America or Asia, and I said, would you rather convert your local currency to the US dollar? And would you rather have your dollars in your hand versus in your bank? I think that you'd have like 95%, 98% consensus that everyone would rather have custody of their own currency, and they'd rather have the strongest currency in the world. And the US dollar is the strongest currency in the world for two reasons. One, because you can trade cross borders, right? You can trade between Libya and Lebanon and Turkey and Paris and the US with the dollar. And you can't do it with the CNY or the euro or the local currency. So it's the worldwide global medium of exchange. And the second reason they want it is because it's losing value the slowest. I mean, maybe there's like two or three, I don't know, maybe the Swiss, franc or something. There might be two or three currencies that look a little bit stronger, but it looks like you've basically got currencies pegged to the dollar.
Yeah.
And then you've got currencies getting weaker than the dollar at a gradual rate. And you've got currencies by the way, you've got some getting weaker to the dollar at a gradual rate that's shielded by capital controls. Like, I think the CNY is getting weaker than the dollar, but there's capital controls. So it's not so obvious. It's pegged, but with capital controls. And we know, like, the Argentine peso is pegged with capital controls. And it's still getting weaker at a rapid rate, right? The 100 pesos to the dollar is the official rate. 200 pesos to the dollar is the unofficial rate. And it was 20 pesos to the dollar 36 months ago. So I think what you see is the dollar is setting the standard. Everybody pegged to the dollar that's got no capital control. They're just weakening at the same rate. The ones with weak capital controls are weakening 10% faster. And the ones and others are weakening 20, 30, 40, 50% faster, and they're literally collapsing. If we look at the political winds that are blowing, clearly there's a lot of support. There was a fear, I think, 6 months ago that we might have government antipathy toward Bitcoin in the West. You heard the most informed criticism was, Ray Dalio's, well, it's so good, someone's going to ban it. It's like, it kind of, first it was, well, I don't get it, I don't like it, it's bad. And then it became, I guess it's not bad. And then it became, well, I guess it's not going away and it works, but it works too well. Then it became a Jamie Dimon, Ray Dalio, it's just too good. Frank Giestra. Eventually, everybody kind of revolved around or settled upon the narrative that, yeah, it's not bad, it's good, but it's too good, and that's why I'm afraid of it. And I think in the last 6 months, right, we see, in fact, the opposite's happened. The administration's in favor. We've got supporters of Bitcoin in the administration. It seems to me like Biden was a positive check. The entire set of administrative regulators are positive checks. Most of the noise around regulation is really just the altcoiners, right? The DeFi people, the security token people, the staking protocols, the stablecoin issuers, and they want to generate a bunch of noise that regulators are hostile. But I can't see any activity in the past 6 months from a regulator that was, in my opinion, hostile to Bitcoin. I think that the politics right now are such that you kind of have crypto versus Bitcoin. You have all the altcoins versus Bitcoin, and generally, if the altcoins could drag Bitcoin into the debate, right? If it's bad for the altcoin, they want it to be bad for Bitcoin, so that all the Bitcoiners will support their position. So I think you see a lot of that, where people will try to recharacterize utterances by regulators as being bad for Bitcoin, when in fact they're not bad for Bitcoin. They're bad for security tokens, DeFi exchanges, unregulated crypto exchanges, NFTs, or something else, but not Bitcoin. I think that the volatility in the market right now is because Bitcoin is still conjoined with the rest of the crypto industry. Like, as far as I can see, the people driving the market in the near term from day to day are large pools of hedge fund capital and investor capital, highly leveraged, fast money that's cross-trading Bitcoin versus every other altcoin offshore and in DeFi with huge leverage. And their time horizons are 1 minute to 1 week. Like, for example, if you look at minute by minute trading patterns of Bitcoin versus ETH, they're trading in lockstep almost every 60 seconds. Like, you'll see a dump in the market in ETH, and it'll be reflected in Bitcoin in 30 seconds. And so that's interesting, and I've seen that correlation going on for a while, irregardless of news. And of course, I think that a lot of people have a lot of money, and they have a lot of leverage, right? You can trade with 20x leverage. You can trade, in theory, if you cross collateralize through a DeFi exchange, you could trade with even more than 20x leverage. So there's a lot of fast money with a lot of leverage trading across the CeFi crypto exchanges and the DeFi exchanges. And they've got, Cardano and Dogecoin cross collateralized to ETH. And it seems pretty clear to me, someone's got a big block of Bitcoin tied up in ETH, in the ETH network. And when ETH trades down, Bitcoin's trading down almost like they're a fused currency pair or fused asset pair. And they couldn't unconnect that they can't disintegrate that in the near term. Over the long term, like months, quarters, years, yeah. But in minutes, hours, and days, it seems like there's a lot of integration there. So, what do I think in general? It's like, obviously I'm bullish on the asset class. It seems to me that we've got remarkable consensus that Bitcoin is digital property. We got remarkable consensus that Bitcoin is the one universally accepted commodity. We've also got a consensus growing that everything else is a security, by the way, safe, which is, if you roll the clock back 12 months, I think it wasn't clear, but I think right now, out of 6,500 cryptos, I think that you might have a debate over 12 of them being property, and it looks like everything else is a security. And if you're not a proof of work coin, if you're a proof of work coin that's a fork of Bitcoin or something like that, maybe there's a debate about whether it can be property. Half of them aren't, half of them are. But everything that's got an ICO, everything on proof of stake, everything related to DeFi, all of the functional coins, all the staking tokens. It's pretty clear the view of the regulators is if there's staking involved, it's a security. If there's DeFi involved, it's probably a security.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.